My dear students, yesterday we learned the theory of pluralism as a part of the theories of reality, and we have known something about the pluralism. Now let us remember some points we discussed yesterday in the class. In connection with the pluralism, we know what is pluralism. Pluralism stands for the philosophical theory which lays stress on multiplicity and variety. And pluralism is a theory which is an antithesis of monism. We know the difference between the pluralism and the monism. Monism starts from one and derives many from it. And as we discussed yesterday, we know that pluralism starts from many and derives a unity from plurality. And from the discussion, we know that there are two forms of pluralism. One is atomism and another one is monadism. We discussed atomism yesterday, and according to the atomism, as Democritus, what we know is that this world is composed of material atoms, and these material atoms are perpetual in motion, and motion is the essence of the atoms. All these things, all the objects, so even life, mind, all these are created by material atoms. Material atoms are the cause of all these things, according to the atomism. And we believe that, let us remember, as we discussed yesterday, we believe that our universe or our world is created by God. And we human beings are also the creation of God. But according to the atomism, according to the Democritus, the Greek philosopher, what we know is that all the things, this world, universe, and life and mind, all are the creation of material atoms. They are not created by God. These are some points we get from the study of the atomism in connection with the pluralism, and we have to continue, we have to proceed the remaining part of the pluralism. The second part is spiritualistic pluralism, and in other words, it is also known as monadism. Leibniz is the father of spiritualistic monadism, and he assumes the forms of monadism in his philosophy. He holds that the ultimate units of the reality are spiritual atoms. These spiritual ultimate units of the spiritual atoms are called monads. Monads are the ultimate units of reality. This is the main concept of the spiritualistic pluralism. Then let us see the nature of spiritual atoms or monads. what is the nature of these spiritual atoms? What we call monads. The monads are unextended, immaterial substances and the spiritual atoms. The spiritual atoms are essentially self-active in nature. The monads are the centers of the psychic energy containing within themselves the source of all their activities. This is the nature of the spiritual atoms or spiritual atoms or monads. Now, let us know some more things. Monads are self-active and develop from within. They are self-existent, self-centered entities. They are windowless. Windowless means they cannot receive any impression from without, from outside, and they cannot act upon one another. No influence can come into them and no influence can pass out of them. This is the nature of the spiritual atoms, what we call monads. From the study, from the discussion, what we know is that the nature of the spiritual atoms are self-active and developed from within. They are self-active, or they are self-existent and self-centered entities. We know this from this discussion. And these monads are the centers of psychic energy. Then, now let us see. Then who creates these monads? They are independent. Actually, these monads are independent of one another. They are created by God. The monads of the monads. This God is also a monad. But who create these monads? If we questioned who creates these monads, monads are created by one monad, the monad of the monads. Now there is a hierarchy of monads. Let us see the hierarchy. Hierarchy means the ranking, grading of these monads. The first one is self-consciousness. The second one is conscious. The third one is subconscious. And the last one is unconscious. Like this, there are four ranking or four grading of monads. Self-conscious. Say self-conscious, we may mean that self-awareness means the monad which can identify the existence of self, the knowledge of self. That is self-consciousness. And the second one is conscious. The monad which has the awareness, of it, but it does not recognize the self-existent. It does not recognize the awareness of self. That is consciousness. Then third one is subconscious. Subconscious means the monad which have a thought or feeling in his mind. It has a thought, it has a feeling, but and influence the behavior, but it is not aware of it. It The monad does not recognize, does not understand the activities, the behavior, what it did. This is the stage of the subconscious. And the last one is unconscious. Unconscious means no sense, no awareness. Like this, according to Leibniz, there are the grading of the monads. There are the hierarchy of monads. The first one is self-consciousness. The second one is conscious. The third one is subconsciousness. And the last one is unconscious. Like this, we know the hierarchy of monads. Then, now let us see. These monads are independent. Really, they are independent. So, as we know, a few minutes ago we discussed that these monads are created by God. These monads are finite monads. They are independent of one another. According to Leibniz, what we find is that these monads are finite monads and they are independent of one another, but they are dependent on the supreme monad. Supreme monad, the God, the monad of the monads. They are independent, but they are not independent from the creator. What you call monad, what you call the monad of the monads. They are dependent on God. They are created by God. Like this, we know some knowledge of the spiritualistic pluralism. Mainly propounded by Leibniz, the father of the spiritualistic pluralism. Then, now we may ask a question. Leibniz spiritualistic pluralism is known as theistic. Say, Democritus, materialistic atoms are known as, the materialistic pluralism are known as atheistic. We know that why they are known as atheistic, because they are not believe in the existence of God. Therefore, they are atheistic. The Democritus and his colleagues are atheistic. But now, Leibniz spiritualistic pluralism is known as theistic. Why? Because Leibniz believed in the existence of God. So there are the finite minds are, the finite monads are independent. We know. They are independent of one another. But they are not independent from God. They are dependent on God because they are a creation of God. So there is the involvement of the existence of God and a belief in the existence of God. Therefore, Leibniz spiritualistic pluralism is theistic. Now we have some knowledge of spiritualistic pluralism of Leibniz. Now let me show the picture of spiritualistic philosopher Leibniz. Leibniz may be spelled like Leibniz, also we can spell it. And this is a picture of Leibniz, who propounded the theory of the spiritualistic pluralism. And now let us see the summary of the spiritualistic pluralism. Now we know that Leibniz is the father of spiritualistic pluralism. He assumes the forms of monadism in his philosophy. Leibniz holds that the ultimate units of the reality are spiritual atoms called monads. The monads are unextended, this is the nature of the monads. The monads are unextended, immaterial substances and spiritual atoms. They are essentially self-active in nature. The monads are the centers of the psychic energy containing within themselves the source of all their activities. And the monads are created by God, the monad of monads. And then there is a hierarchy of monads. Self-consciousness, consciousness, subconscious and unconscious. I have explained you. And now the finite monads are independent of one another, but they are dependent on the supreme monad, God, the monad of monads. In the conclusion, it is found that Leibniz's spiritualistic pluralism is theistic. Then let us see some questions from the discussion what we did today. Who is the father of spiritualistic monadism? Number one. We know that Leibniz is the father of spiritualistic monadism. And the second and the third, what are the spiritual atoms according to Leibniz? Monads. Monads are the spiritual atoms. And what are the ultimate units of reality? Monads are the ultimate units of reality. Then next question, what is the nature of the spiritual atoms? It may come for 4 marks. The nature of the spiritual atoms. We know that some nature of the spiritual atoms, they are the center of psychic energy, they are unextended, like this, some of the nature we have seen, we have discussed. And who creates the monads? Who creates the monads? You know, God creates the monads. And what are the hierarchy of monads? Now there are 4 grading we have discussed. Self-consciousness, subconsciousness, conscious and unconscious. These are the hierarchy or grading of the monads we discussed. And why is Leibniz spiritualistic pluralism called theistic? Leibniz pluralism is not atheistic, just like that of the Democritus, because Leibniz believed in the existence of God. And this is the last question. And now I think you have known something about the theory of pluralism. Then let us finish here for today.